My beloved, you are not here by accident. The very moment your eyes meet these words, it is already a sign that something within you is being stirred. Have you noticed how life often whispers before it shouts? A quiet nudge in your heart, a subtle sense that something is shifting, even when nothing outward seems to change. That is not coincidence. It is divine orchestration. When Krishna is preparing to move in someone's life, the preparation does not come with loud announcements. It arrives in silence, in restlessness, in the feeling that the old ways no longer fit. Perhaps you have felt it. Conversations that once energized you now leave you empty. Places that used to feel like home suddenly feel too small. You may sense people drifting away, opportunities closing, or desires changing in ways you can't explain. Do not panic. These are not punishments. They are signs that you are being prepared for something greater than you have imagined. Every ending is a redirection. Every delay is protection. Every silence is an invitation to listen more deeply. And here is the truth. Before Krishna gives you what you have been asking for, he first prepares your heart to carry it. A blessing too heavy for unprepared hands becomes a burden. But in the right time, with the right strength, it becomes the miracle you were meant to hold. So, if you feel restless, if life seems uncertain, if you wonder why doors are closing, pause, because you may not be in the wrong place. You may be exactly where you need to be for something sacred to begin. This message, my beloved, is a guide to help you recognize the signs. The unmistakable signs that Krishna is about to do something extraordinary in your life. When Krishna is about to move in your life, the very first sign is not chaos, but stillness. This stillness often surprises us. It does not announce itself with trumpets or flashing lights. It arrives quietly, like the hush that falls before dawn, like the moment of breath before the first note of a song. You may notice conversations that once brought energy beginning to fade. Friends who used to call often are suddenly distant. Opportunities you relied on seem to dry up. Schedules slow down, plans stall, and the flow of life feels interrupted. At first, you may feel abandoned. You may wonder, why has everything grown so quiet? Did I do something wrong? But beloved, the quiet is not a punishment. It is a preparation. Krishna clears away the distractions so you can hear the voice of your own soul, which is the channel through which he speaks. Silence is the sacred womb where transformation begins. Think of a seed planted deep in the soil. It looks as if nothing is happening. From the outside, the ground is still, but hidden in the silence of the earth, life is stirring. Roots are spreading, and something new is preparing to break forth. In the same way, when life becomes quiet, it is not a sign that nothing is happening. It is a sign that everything is happening beneath the surface, in ways you cannot yet see. I remember a young man named Arjun who went through such a season. For years, he worked endlessly at his corporate job, chasing recognition and financial success. He believed busyness meant progress, but then, almost suddenly, everything slowed down. Projects failed. His boss overlooked his efforts. Even his closest friends seemed too busy to notice him. At first, he fought the silence, filling his days with endless scrolling, meaningless conversations, and restless nights. But eventually, exhaustion forced him to stop resisting. He began to lean into the stillness. Arjun started waking earlier, sitting in quiet prayer, reading the Bhagavad Gita, and writing down his thoughts. He realized the silence was not emptiness, but an invitation. It was Krishna giving him the chance to realign with his deeper calling. Months later, an unexpected door opened. A local school invited him to share about mindfulness and the teachings of the Gita with students. That single opportunity awakened a new path. Arjun left behind the corporate world and discovered his gift as a teacher of wisdom. His silence had not been abandonment. It had been preparation. Perhaps you are experiencing something similar right now. Doors that once opened easily are now closed. People who once felt close seem far away. Life feels like it has slowed to a crawl. It may even feel like you are losing your place in the world. But this stillness is not loss. It is alignment. Krishna removes what is not needed so he can make room for what is truly yours. In the silence, he softens your heart. In the stillness, he clears your vision. When the noise quiets, the whispers of your destiny become audible. If your days feel heavy with stillness, do not rush to fill them with distractions. Do not drown the silence with noise. Instead, honor it. Sit with it. Allow yourself to breathe deeply in it. The silence itself is holy ground. You may feel restless. You may feel lonely. But the loneliness is really spaciousness, a clearing so that new connections and opportunities can arrive without resistance. It is the pause before the new chapter begins. It is the fertile ground where Krishna plants the seed of your next season. And just as a seed does not resist the darkness of the soil, you too are invited not to resist the quiet. Because in that quiet, everything is being arranged. When Krishna is about to act, he first prepares the vessel, you. Your mind is cleared. Your heart is softened. Your spirit is refined, so that when the new season comes, you can carry its blessings with strength and grace. So do not fear the silence. Do not curse the stillness, for in it lies the hidden work of the divine. And when the stillness finally breaks, you will understand. It was never emptiness. It was fullness, disguised in quiet. Krishna is closest to you in the silence, closer than the breath you inhale. And when the moment is right, the stillness will give way to a symphony greater than anything you ever imagined. When Krishna is preparing to shift your life, one of the clearest signs is loss. Not every loss will look tragic, but it will feel significant. People you thought would stay forever may quietly walk away. Friendships that once felt unbreakable may suddenly grow cold. Relationships that you thought were essential may dissolve without warning. At first, this feels painful. It can feel like rejection. It can feel as if the world is shrinking around you. But beloved, what if the departure is not rejection, but protection? What if the relationships ending are not failures, but divine rearrangements? Krishna does not remove people to punish you. He removes them to make room for the souls aligned with your next chapter. Think about this truth. If you are carrying a heavy backpack filled with unnecessary weight, you cannot climb the mountain ahead, so the divine hand begins to lighten your load. This is why some connections slip away. This is why some opportunities close. They are not yours to carry where you are going. There was a young woman named Mira who once shared her story. She had been in a long relationship that seemed stable, but deep down she knew it was stagnant. Her partner did not share her dreams, nor her spiritual hunger. Still, she stayed, out of comfort, out of fear of loneliness. Then one day, seemingly without reason, the relationship ended. Mira was devastated. She cried for weeks, believing she had lost the person meant for her. But as time passed, she began to see the truth. In the quiet that followed, she rediscovered herself. She traveled, began painting again, and devoted more time to prayer. One evening, while attending a devotional gathering, she met someone whose spirit aligned perfectly with hers. This person shared her devotion, her vision, and her hunger for growth. Looking back, Mira realized the loss had not been a curse. It had been Krishna's mercy, gently guiding her out of what no longer served her and toward what her soul truly needed. The same may be happening in your life. Friends who once felt close may no longer understand you. Conversations may feel shallow. Connections that once felt safe may now feel suffocating. This is not because you are broken. It is because you are growing. As the spirit within you rises to a higher vibration, not everyone will resonate with that frequency. And that is okay. Some people are meant for one season, not for every season. Krishna sends companions for certain chapters, but not for the entire story. When you notice relationships fading, do not cling in desperation. Instead, bow in gratitude for the role they played in your life, and release them with love. Because what awaits you cannot arrive while your hands are full of what no longer belongs. Loss is often the language of transition. It feels like subtraction, but it is really preparation for multiplication. When Krishna takes something, he never does so without intending to give something greater in return. This is not just about people. It may also include habits, desires, and even identities. Old hobbies may suddenly feel meaningless. Habits that once comforted you may now leave you restless. Your heart may long for truth, simplicity, purity. It may feel like outgrowing an old garment that no longer fits. That discomfort is not random. It is the sacred shedding that makes room for your new self to emerge. Consider how the caterpillar must let go of crawling before it can fly. The cocoon looks like confinement, but it is transformation. In the same way, when people, habits, or situations fall away, you are not being diminished. You are being transformed. Beloved, I know it hurts. It is human to grieve what was familiar. But I invite you to see the bigger picture. Instead of asking, "Why did this leave me?" begin asking, "What is this loss making space for?" For when Krishna prepares to bless you, he first removes what blocks the blessing. So do not resist the departures. Do not chase what is leaving. Do not mourn so long that you miss what is arriving. Stand still in faith, trusting that every subtraction is the seed of a greater addition. And one day, when the new arrives, you will look back with gratitude for the things that once broke your heart. Because you will see clearly, they were never truly losses. They were divine preparations. Krishna's hand was guiding you all along. Another unmistakable sign that Krishna is preparing to do something extraordinary in your life is this. Old wounds resurface. Memories you thought were buried suddenly come alive again. Fears you believed you had conquered return in unexpected ways. Pain you once avoided begins to whisper at the edges of your heart. This can feel cruel. You may wonder, why is this happening now? Haven't I suffered enough? But understand this deeply, beloved. Krishna does not bring these wounds back to punish you. He brings them up so they can finally be released. You cannot step into a new destiny carrying poison from the past. The bitterness, resentment, and grief buried inside you must be transformed before you can carry the weight of greater blessings. So he stirs the waters of your soul. He shakes the ground beneath your feet, not to destroy you, but to cleanse you. Imagine a glass of water with dirt settled at the bottom. If you disturb it, the dirt rises to the surface, making the water look messy. But only when it surfaces can you pour it out and replace it with clear water. Your soul works the same way. The disturbance is not meant to ruin you. It is meant to free you. I remember the story of a man named Dev. For years he carried silent anger toward his father. As a child, he felt neglected and unseen. As an adult, he buried those feelings under success, wealth, and ambition. But when life slowed down and silence entered his days, those old wounds returned. He found himself lashing out at small things, restless at night, and unable to explain his emotions. At first, he thought he was regressing, but with guidance, Dev realized this was not regression. It was revelation. Krishna was surfacing his pain so that it could finally be surrendered. Through prayer, tears, and forgiveness, he laid down the bitterness he had carried for decades. And only after letting go of that weight did he experience peace unlike anything before. Perhaps you are walking through something similar. You thought you had healed, but a word, a memory, or a situation suddenly triggers deep pain. Do not despair. This is not a setback. It is a sacred setup. The old wounds are knocking because they are ready to leave. They are surfacing so they can be offered to Krishna, to be transmuted into wisdom and compassion. You see, unhealed pain limits your vision. It keeps you small, chained to old stories. But once it is released, you become lighter, freer, capable of carrying the larger purpose waiting for you. Even storms in your life may serve this cleansing. Financial struggles may surface your fear of lack. Conflicts with loved ones may surface your need for control. Loneliness may surface your fear of abandonment. All of these pains rising are invitations, not to retreat, but to surrender them into divine hands. Yes, the process hurts. It feels heavy, exhausting, and at times unbearable. But remember this truth: storms are not random. They are often divine tools of transformation. A storm shakes everything that is not rooted in truth. It strips away illusions, leaving only what is unshakable. So when the storm comes, do not fight it. Do not fear it. Say instead, if this is rising, it is because it is ready to leave. And then, in prayer, release it. Let your tears flow. They are sacred rivers carrying your pain away. Let your cries rise. They are songs of surrender reaching Krishna's heart. And let your heart soften. For it is in vulnerability that divine grace enters most easily. Beloved, when old wounds rise, rejoice. It means Krishna is preparing to elevate you. It means you are being purified for something greater. It means the chains of the past are being broken so you can walk freely into the future. You are not being undone. You are being remade. Not broken, but rebuilt. Not punished, but prepared. And one day, you will look back at this painful chapter and see it not as cruelty, but as compassion. Because you will realize the storm was not against you. The storm was for you. It was Krishna's way of ensuring that nothing impure would cross over into the land of your destiny. When Krishna is about to unfold something new in your life, you will begin to notice a deep change in your desires. Things that once excited you suddenly feel empty. Habits that once gave you comfort no longer satisfy. The glitter of achievements, possessions, or social approval begins to lose its shine. Instead, you start to crave simplicity. You long for peace more than noise. You long for truth more than appearances. You long for purity more than indulgence. This shift can feel confusing at first. You may ask yourself, why don't I enjoy the things I used to? Why do I feel restless even when I get what I wanted? But this is not a sign of loss. It is a sign of growth. Krishna is reorienting your heart toward what truly matters. Like a compass adjusting toward the north, your soul begins to lean toward the eternal. Let me tell you the story of Anika. For years, she loved the thrill of parties, the rush of recognition, the validation of likes and applause. But slowly, something began to change. The music felt too loud. The praise felt shallow. The pleasures that once thrilled her began to taste bitter. At first, she thought she was simply tired, but soon she realized it was her spirit awakening. One evening, instead of going out, she stayed home in silence. She lit a candle, opened the Bhagavad Gita, and read aloud a verse about surrender. As she read, tears filled her eyes. She realized that all the noise of her life had been drowning out the song of her own soul. That night was the beginning of her return to herself. From then on, she sought more stillness, more honesty, more connection to Krishna. And in letting go of shallow desires, she discovered a joy that was quiet, yet eternal. Perhaps you feel the same right now. The shows, the gossip, the endless scrolling, the fleeting thrills, none of it seems to fit anymore. Instead, your heart longs for quiet walks, meaningful conversations, sacred texts, honest prayer. You are not becoming boring. You are becoming aligned. Krishna strips away the counterfeit joys so that you may taste the true nectar of divine connection. When this hunger awakens, do not resist it. Do not run back to old patterns just because they are familiar. Honor the new appetite of your spirit. If your soul longs for simplicity, give it space. Clean your environment. Release the clutter, both physical and emotional. Allow your inner and outer world to breathe. If your heart longs for truth, seek it relentlessly. Do not settle for half-truths or shallow answers. Dive deeper into wisdom, into sacred teachings, into the stillness where Krishna's whispers can be heard. If your spirit longs for purity, protect it. Turn away from what pollutes your mind, your speech, your actions. Choose what uplifts, what heals, what aligns you with love. Beloved, this hunger is not accidental. It is evidence that something divine is near. Just as a vessel must be emptied before it can be filled again, Krishna empties you of shallow desires so he can pour into you a higher purpose. This is why the old feels unsatisfying. It is because your soul has outgrown it. And just as a snake sheds its skin to continue growing, you too are shedding patterns that no longer serve your destiny. Yes, it may feel uncomfortable. Yes, it may feel lonely. But remember, emptiness is the doorway to fullness. Simplicity is not loss. It is freedom. Purity is not weakness. It is power. Truth is not heavy. It is liberation. When you lean into these desires, you align with the frequency of miracles. Because Krishna does not dwell in noise and excess. He dwells in the simple, the pure, the true. So, if you feel this shift, rejoice. It means your heart is being prepared as a sacred home for the divine. And when the time comes, you will see how every craving for simplicity was really Krishna's gentle hand, guiding you closer to himself. The hunger you feel is not ordinary. It is holy. It is the soul remembering its source. It is the whisper of eternity calling you home. Beloved, we have walked through signs, stories, and sacred reminders together. We have spoken of loneliness that is not abandonment, but preparation. We have spoken of losses that are not curses, but divine rearrangements. We have spoken of old wounds resurfacing, not to punish, but to purify. We have spoken of the hunger for truth and simplicity, the longing for something higher than this world can give. And all of it leads here, this very moment. The truth is simple, yet profound. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not wandering without purpose. You are being shaped. Every silence, every tear, every closed door, every stirring inside you, it is all part of Krishna's design. You may not always understand his timing, but you can always trust his heart. He does not waste pain. He does not delay without reason. He does not take without intending to give something greater. Beloved, your waiting has not been in vain. Your prayers have not vanished into the air. Your journey has not been meaningless. Even when you could not see it, you were being carried. Even when you could not hear him, his whispers were guiding your steps. Even when you felt alone, his presence was closer than your breath. This is the mystery and the beauty of the divine path. Krishna is never absent. He is always weaving threads unseen, preparing the moment when everything will make sense. So as you leave this message, I ask you not to rush back into the noise of the world. Pause, breathe. Let these words settle into your heart like seeds, because the seeds will grow in silence, watered by your faith, nourished by your surrender. And when the time is right, they will bloom into miracles you cannot yet imagine. Do not measure your progress by the standards of the world. Do not compare your journey to others. Your path is sacred. Your story is unique. Your timing is divine. Lift your head, even if it feels heavy. Soften your heart, even if it has been broken. Stay open, even if the past has taught you to close. Because Krishna is not finished with you. In fact, he is just beginning. One day, you will look back on this very season, the tears, the waiting, the questions, and you will smile. Because you will see clearly, this was the turning point. This was the moment everything changed. This was the chapter where you stopped resisting and started trusting. So let go, beloved. Release what is fading. Embrace what is arriving. And step into the unknown with faith. For in the unknown, Krishna is waiting. And what he is about to do in your life will be more beautiful, more healing, and more powerful than you ever dared to dream.